Hello, everybody. Spinning Racks in the house. I'm here with my man PD, and we're going to be talking about Power. Once again, the season is popping. I gotta say, I like it. PD, what do you like so far?
Well, there was a lot of building in episodes 3 and episode 4, and getting to episode 5, right?
Right.
5. This one has been the one people have really been excited about, but you know,
it's much better than the others. I can't say it's been extremely exciting, but I think it's set up. A lot of the setup has gone through, and some stuff is starting to pop off, and we're starting to see the end results of it. You know.
Well, I guess people realize a little bit of gunfire that they had in 1 and 2 was sort of not what we wanted. We wanted death. We wanted Dre dead.
No, we don't want Dre dead.
Some people want Ghost dead. Some people want Tariq dead.
Yeah, well, Tariq is definitely.
People want Tariq there long enough so they can reveal that 50s is. Kanan is his father.
Which I've been saying from day one.
There's so many ridiculous plots that should not come alive of Kanan being Tariq's father. Which
you
is
heard
so
it here
ridiculous.
first. If
it
it
doesn't
happens,
make.
you heard
It
it
is
here
the
first.
hackiest writing,
No, it's perfectly
hackiest
fine.
writing soap opera.
And that would
hackiest.
explain why.
It wouldn't explain
Tariq's
anything.
mother jumps every time she sees Kanan. You know.
She just hates him because she wants him dead.
Right, but what is the reason behind the hate? There has to be something.
Because they come
They
on.
dated, but they never explained.
No, not
why
about the
she-
dating. She's with Ghost. The plan was that they wanted to make the move to go where they went, and
Well,
Kanan was not going to allow them. Tommy is on the edge because they like Tommy too much because they should get rid of him. They should have got rid of him a long time ago, but you know
Kanan's plan has always been to break up those two. You know, have Tommy by himself while getting rid of.
No,
Ghost.
he would tear down Tommy too, because
Right,
he already
but
doesn't like
but
Tommy. He doesn't like how Tommy does business anyway.
Right, but I'm just saying that he wants to get through the Ghost. If he can break the partnership up, then that's what he wants. And right now, that's what he's been doing in the show, little by little. He's been ingratiating himself to Tommy so that he can go after Ghost.
Ultimately,
You know.
Kanan has to die this season.
No, I don't think so.
He's overused his usefulness.
I don't think so.
The thing is that if Kanan comes into power and he's some sort of like person that's working with Tate, we're not gonna be happy at all. So I think in this episode,
Kanan is the main antagonist, and without him, it's going to be a problem. You know, we've had different drugs. The Jimenez brothers. Who was it? The last one, Los Lobos. Yeah, but there's a constant in all this. It's Kanan. Kanan inside the jail was a caged figure. Outside the jail,
he's a little too powerful, and then
he's not powerful. He's connected.
He's somehow like tearing apart Dre's people, and what's the Spanish part of Dre's empire? Like he's just tearing them apart with ease.
Right.
Like they're like somehow he's got the drop. And an episode leading into episode 5.
That's Kendrick Lamar.
He comes in there and he helps them catch some people off guard. And it's like, but you can't keep having this happen, and they're just complete dummies, just to build Kanan, because the other guys aren't they're like lower on the call sheet. Like we know that Kanan has to win, but it's like, man, he's just gonna tear apart all of Dre's people, you know, and those are his people. I mean, I guess he hasn't taken out the, I don't know. It's to me, it's a little too much Kanan. I like 50. But at the same time, you're leading to we need him out, because at this point, Ghost doesn't have much power, and he's being called Ghost more times than
way
most.
too much.
The kids are calling him Ghost.
Yeah.
You know, the grandmother. You know, he's calling him Ghost in front of his mother-in-law. That's nutty. But I think the episode we're sorry. I mean, because the other episodes are dealing with. Teresi and Tommy, and Teresi being an informant, and everyone should realize what that's about. But
he's a rat.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But it led to a cool effect of, with 50, setting, Ghost. I mean, the thing is, Ghost is smarter than everybody.
Yeah, too damn smart.
The idea to make Tommy toxic to the Italians was brilliant.
Yes.
And then 50, of course, gets the wrong hitters, and he has to take them out. Or maybe you already planned it.
So explain to them. So what happens? 50 Ghost's idea was to get hitters trying to kill Tommy.
This is the episode before that.
Yeah,
This
the episode
is
before. They're trying to kill Tommy. So
yeah.
the point is that when they go out, they were supposed to be shooting blanks. So by missing,
and
that-
they're too thugged out. They can't even miss the wrong way. They had to pull the armor out.
they had to say, you know what, I'm not using the blanks. I'm using the real bullets. So that's what he wants us to do. Not thinking that he really doesn't want them to hit anybody.
Yeah.
So they go out there and they start shooting people, hit the head of the mob and stuff like that. And that causes a whole bunch of consequences for Tommy because Tommy needs them to help sell his drugs. And when they find out that, this whole beef between him and Dre is not over, they kill that connection.
Well,
and they kick him out. They kick the father and the father's
It
best
works.
friend out.
It works perfect because they pull one of the other Italian gangsters pulls Kanan in, and he adds the bit that is this over.
Because Kanan comes in to kill those two killers.
Yeah.
He can't have the guys he hired being around.
Yeah. So, but this point leads to a powerful moment between Tommy and Teresi's right hand, where the other gangster is like, you got to choose between one of them, and he can't. It's funny because he makes a choice. Obviously, Tommy isn't gone, but it plays out, and there's no hard feelings after the scene, which was a great scene for me. I like that.
That was a pretty good scene because then you explain to the guy, Teresi's best friend, why he was going to shoot him as opposed to Tommy, and he's like, dude, I knew the gun wasn't loaded, and it kind of makes sense. If you've ever had a gun, you know the difference in weight between a loaded gun and an unloaded gun, and he's like, I chose you. I wanted to seem as though that I'm more for Tommy, when in fact I'm really for you, and we're gonna hook this whole thing up, And let's get back. Teresi's playing the game. He got out of prison early. I'm sorry we got to belabor this. He got out of prison early because he was going to rat. Now he's
using Tommy,
he
not
was
on his people.
He was going to rat on Tommy.
Or use
and
Tommy's
Ghost.
information,
Right.
Because
He's been in jail for how many years? He's been in jail
Forever.
for a while, a long time, and he was, but he hasn't ratted on the Italians. And in fact, he comes back out, and everything has changed. All the people he was dealing with, they're either in jail, they're dead. So that's why Teresi Jr. is running the show. So they don't feel the same type of loyalty, that they would feel for somebody. They respect him because he's an OG. OG who's been there, he's kept his mouth shut. But even they had the thought like, yo, how did he get out early?
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? Everybody but Tommy. Tommy's just blind.
Tommy thought that. Once he got the call that he was getting out, he thought that. But then everyone remember episode 3? Everybody gave him bad advice saying, oh, he's your father. Oh, like that. And that's the family. Whenever you ask someone advice about family.
The mother said don't bring him out. The mother said dude is toxic.
Yes. But the mother was wanting drugs, so people are not going to listen to that. But every time a sober, ordinary person, you say you have an issue with a family member, all they're going to say to you is,
Work it out.
Work it out.
Yeah.
And that does not help when you're dealing with crazies. Sometimes family members can be crazy. But anyway.
Yeah, but Teresi's whole life revolves around one thing and one person.
Tommy?
No,
or
not
his
Tommy,
wife?
his wife. So, I mean.
And is it Rue McClanahan? Is it McClanahan? Is that, what's
That's
that?
not Rue McClanahan.
What's it?
I know her name. I forgot her name. She's a famous actress. She's been in a lot of shows.
But she is, even in this struggling state, is still powerful.
Yeah,
She's always
she's
kills
kicking
it.
ass.
She
She's
always
all the
kills
time.
it, and she's
You
barely.
believe it.
And she can't be in the show that much because she figure out what Teresi's doing, and she doesn't even want him to rat. That's the point. That was another great scene. We're like, oh man, you can't rat. He's like, no, it's not. Ratting is not on people that you like. He's like, no, you can't rat at all.
Exactly.
If the guys find out, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So that was actually a pretty good scene between him and his wife.
There we go.
That threw me off.
Clocking them down. Clocking another one. So then we also have Angela, they had the whole stuff with Angela and her struggling in the office, but now they're trying to ask about why did Angela take away that stuff from the police officer. Right. So but that was interesting because the lawyer was in the house. Remember the lawyer was in the house and the police came and they came with their trump card saying we're going to look for the gun. And the lawyer's there, and the lawyer's a dummy at times because he's like, oh, we're going to look for your gun. He said, no, I reported that stolen. And the next thing the lawyer jumps in and says, you can't do all this. And they knocks him out of there. They have to leave. But then he's not looking past Ghost because they're sleeping together, but she's saying you just want to protect Ghost. And it's not. Obviously, if she was in a situation where Ghost killed Ray Ray, right? That was the cop's name?
Yeah, Ray Ray. But it wasn't Tariq who killed Gay Ray Ray.
Yeah, so he has to use his head and say, this is more than that, because emotionally she's out of the relationship. And she's been out of the relationship for a long time because he's not being the gangster. But at the same time, I don't know that, Tasha and this guy's going to work out because she likes the life.
Yes, she does.
She likes it. So, but then the problem I have is Tariq, because Tariq was such an a-hole the entire episode, saying to his mother, like, you wish I died instead of Raina.
Heck yeah.
But at the same time, it's like saying, how disrespectful when you put him in that place. So I'm not feeling good.
She didn't put him in what place? He put himself.
No, I'm saying he put Raina. He put Raina in that place. Right. And at the same time, that's what I'm saying. This is what she's saying to him. She should say that to him. And at the same time, we all have mothers, right? We all know when our mother gets mad at us, it's not pretty. So you say something dumb, they're not usually, and I'm saying, my mom is not usually going to be like, all right, I'm going to take it and go to the corner. She's going to hit back.
Yep.
Your mother, like I'm saying,
this is new age parents.
No, it's not. They're gangster parents. This is no new age
I'm
parents.
Just saying, these are the
I'm saying even
this ain't real life. We know that for sure.
I'm saying
because I don't know. Ghost is coming from Jamaica.
I can't say
they gonna let this fly. He would say, "What the?
I'm gonna just
pound them out.
Protect the innocence. I'm not gonna use the person that this happened to, but I've heard it before in my life. So I'm gonna use this other person who they got into a conflict over a family member. And he was like, I can't deal with this family member. And the mother said, even though he'd done a million things that she wanted him to do, you never did anything I wanted you to do.
Wow.
And that is a default that's used. They're gonna hit back. Cause it's like you can't hit below the belt. Cause they've been around too long. They're not gonna run to the corner cause they gave birth to you, they can take you out. You think the fathers are that way, the mothers too. So Tasha's supposed to be tough. She can't hit him, but she can hit him in different ways.
Right, but Tasha is basically folded to him every single time.
Yes, you're right, and that was not should happen.
But here's the thing: she tells him
it should not happen that way.
Yeah, and so one of the problems I have is that Tariq grows up in this very rich, very accomplished household, and he was never told that the family came from Queens. And
you wouldn't no. And then that you cannot tell. This is the problem. You cannot tell. You don't tell your kids that you're getting high in the house. That's happened in my house. When the kids put together the reefer seeds and they say, here, Dad, I cleaned up that, and they're like, oh my God, get out of here. That sort of thing. But I'm saying to you, as far as even work, if you're even at a regular job, your parents usually don't tell you the ins and outs of the job because in their thing, they're in some pressure situation where they could lose a job. And it's not always a hero situation where you're like, I went to the job and I was the hero at my job and I saved everybody. Sometimes you're getting yelled at. Sometimes you're not Dame Dash and you're the boss. Sometimes you have 3 million bosses. So you go to work, and the thing, you visit work and then you're like, oh yeah, everyone treats you like you bring the kids in, and they treat you, but you don't know what the job is about. I'm saying my father worked in photo engraving, and it wasn't until way late in life that I understood the dynamic in the New York Times of what the job was. And it took that long that he worked his way up, did this, that, and the other. It switched to computers. And when he was doing the computer aspect, that's when he explained stuff. He was struggling with it. But that's how you hear about the life. But at the same time, there are aspects of his life that, he liked to go out and he would drink at Sardi's next to the New York Times. That's way later as an adult. All the time after work. So it's like...
And this relates to how they're not telling him everything?
They're not supposed to. Parents do not tell you everything about the business. And at the same time, when, if you look at the gang, you don't see that in, Italian gangster movies. Where the kids are like, oh my God, you didn't tell me this, that, and the other.
They knew exactly what the family was doing.
But at the same time, you slowly realize as you come up and they're like, if you see it, that's the thing. If you're in a situation, I think what was it? I'm all off the page because this is very emotional for me.
I can see.
You look at, that's what I'm saying. I use myself as an example. So now I'm going to use another movie. Poltergeist. There's a scene in Poltergeist where the two parents have a joint and they're smoking, and then the kid is like, I'm awake, and the parents don't shoo away the kid or throw away the joint. They're like, oh, what's wrong? And they're bringing them into this aspect of something they didn't tell the little kid, because it doesn't matter. The thing is that they're taken care of. They're not out, they're not driving, they're not doing anything that's harmful, and the kid is more important than what was going on there or hiding the fact. The whole big deal about this is nonsense. If you see it, most of the time it should be played at times we would tell you when you were ready. Right now you're not ready, and where you're taking it now, you're not ready. And the thing is that it's so emotional for me. What's the name?
Tariq.
So you give them, let's go back to the show. I'm going to go back. Go back to Tate. Give them the whole explanation of Tate and Ghost and Dre. Give them that stuff, and I'm going to lead up to the Tariq again.
So basically, Tate is basically trying to get money for the club. And so what's happening is that every time they start doing something, Ghost wants to be in lead of it, but Tate is the one who's actually taking control of the whole project. And the one episode we see that he sleeps with one of the clients, thinking, hey, that's the way I can get the money, but instead he's played. And so again, they have a speech that they thought the wife should give it, or probably Tate should give it, and Ghost goes up there and he starts imagining he's seeing his daughter again. And so now
he hasn't faced the death.
So now what they're basically doing is deciding that he's bringing in Dre, and so what happened is that he starts getting into arguments with Tate about who is in charge and who's the power of this in the middle of a function to raise money.
Also, before that, like, Ghost finally is able to stop Dre with a non-compete. He shouldn't be in the project because.
Well, once he finds out he's in the project, then he says, "Well, I don't, we can't be in." But Dre joins it. Why? Because he figures this is the best way to protect himself.
Yeah.
Ghost ain't going to take him out if he's in the middle of a project that's supposed to be about his daughter.
Ghost gets him out. He actually wins on the political side, and then Tate ruins that. I just wanted to get that in. So Tate back to the party.
Yeah, so they're at the party, and basically Ghost just completely melts down. He just loses it.
He's drunk.
And he's drunk.
And then the other thing is that people saying that the white dude gave him a Mickey. They're like, he gave him, and then that's why he flipped out.
But he can't, because we're seeing a natural progression.
He gave him some Spanish Fly, and then he started wanting to fight. So what is the gangster fight version of a roofie or Spanish Fly? I want to know what that is, because just getting you drunk isn't going to make you immediately decide, all right, like, there's Spanish Fly, and there's being passed out drunk, which is a roofie.
Right.
That's what the Mickey is. It's not, I'm gonna get you intoxicated quicker. It's like, what? Because he gave him some Cisco. But instead of what he had, he gave him liquid crack.
Cisco, well, that's a Jamaican drink. Don't get it. It's not legal in the States. But I'm saying, what we have here, though, is that Dre is actually making the moves. It's Tate and Dre that are really doing everything now. Tate has says this is really my project. He's only using Raina's name. He's only using some of the Ghost's money, but he's in control of the project. Yeah. This project is to help propel him. What he wants to become governor. Yes. I think that's what he wants to do. And so he's going to use the money, to influence the donors to get to the top. So.
It's so much stuff that happened in this. So we're gonna get to that point. Going back to Teresi. Go see Tommy. Tommy has out the laundered money, the clean money check, sitting around, which is a Tommy thing, but it's totally insane.
It is.
It's a Tommy
Ghost
thing,
the money for using truth because he.
But it's just too. It's too much. Even though it works, for me it was too much. Well, let's go back to the party. After the party, he's flat drunk. He goes home. He's finished, and he has a father-son moment where he's drunk and it gets violent. But Tariq is now using the stuff that his mother said against Ghost.
Against both of them.
Against both of them, but it's complete. It's like the thing is that you have to build, and I'm drawing so much from experience because regretfully, and I'm going to bring up my father here. My father liked to drink, and sometimes he liked to get high. And when that happened, most of the time, he talked forever, right? He talked for long periods of time. He used to smoke, and he had a cigarette, and I'd see this. He talked so long that the cigarette would go out. He had to light another one, right? So, even in the point where I finally had my points that I had to make, right? And I was like, I got him now. I got him. I forget what the points I had because his points were stronger. So I was like, all right, look, you did this and you did that. And he turned back to me and he said, did you have heat? Did you have hot water? Did you ever want for anything and not get it? And then it's like, you know what? In truth, these things that I had at that point were small comparison to overall, what it is. And the whole point is a thing of respect. And not saying when a person goes, when someone's drunk, and someone's drunk and you've been there with not just saying my father, but friends, this, that, and the other. It's caretaking and being around them through this struggle,
right.
And then say that was what the moment was and move on. This shows totally no respect. Once it goes too far, and that can happen too. And then you're like, all right, no, you don't have to take that. This wasn't that. He can't fight. Ghost can't do any of his tricks now. He's fumbling on the floor. That's when he's like screaming on him the worst. When he's not drunk, that's the other problem. When he's not drunk, Tariq has said all this terrible stuff. If it was just Ghost being a jerk, he'd be on the floor and he could walk out and say, my dad is. He hammered him while he was at. He showed no respect. And it's not, the respect is like, I gave you the good life, even though and I tried to keep you out of the thing.
Yep.
I'm not trying to put you into the drug thing. I'm trying to give you a better life. And I don't really buy into that they had it terribly hard, and obviously being on the street and selling drugs is a life or death thing. But there is, in part of, like 50 grew up a little bit after us, right? And there's a part of a fast life where you can do the rinky-dink job and you can go to school and you're not going to be that much different than the person who goes to work but you don't have that ball, whatever the reason. There's a part of the fast life and the danger and having the fun part, which people escape, that gets lost in the saying, we had it so hard, we had to do all this stuff, which is not entirely true. There are people that have nothing, and the problem is we grew up with people, they always bring up who passed. Remember Sugarfoot?
Yeah.
So this guy, he had he had a foot problem. He had to walk with a limp, and he obviously came from some struggles. But he was the funniest guy. No, if you tried to crack on him, he would destroy you. He could play bad. He plays sports, and the next thing you find out he's doing the drug thing. I was like saying, why we kids? I'm like, why would he go into the drug thing? Like everyone can't wait for him to come around.
Right.
And then next thing you know, you hear he's shot. You see he's got, he's gonna need some sort of help, and then he's gone. Yeah. And it's like he was like the life of a party. So it's like when you say, and everyone's own struggle is different, but it doesn't. I always say that story just to say that you don't have to do it. And I don't believe that their life was a total struggle and they had to sell drugs. So back, Dre, too disrespectful, but to see how emotional this episode, this is the real me, all over the place. So sorry, bring it back home. Bring it back home for us. I can't get it straight. I brought up too much craziness. It really affected me.
Well, it was a good episode. I can say clearly, PD definitely was affected by the episode. What this episode basically shows is Ghost is at his lowest now,
Yes,
He's
and that's going to be hard.
And him and Angela is also at her lowest because she's having setbacks.
Yes.
She was able to figure out the whole Jimenez brothers is actually the brother and the sister. In Spanish, hermanos it could be either brothers or it could be both brother and a sister. And so they realized it was, and she thought she had them dead for rights, but of course in the last, they took out, the feds basically closed the case on them, so they continued. So she has a setback, but at the same time in the office, there's an investigation on her, on Ghost, and that's being done by two of the deputies who mock, and the other dude who she hates, and they hate her.
But she got a hint about it that they've been about the Teresi thing. So
Right.
now she's trying to use Tommy. She tried to point out Tommy and brought out the tracker that's been on Tommy.
But hold on, that was the dumbest scene I ever saw. Because
What?
she took the tracker off of Tommy's car where it was, and she walked home with the damn tracker. She had it in her purse. And when Tommy came to her place, she was shook, which I love. That was a
But
great
she
thing.
probably turned off the tracker.
Then they would have known somebody turned off the tracker. This is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I
that-
tried.
It doesn't
I
even
tried.
make, that is like beyond belief.
I
She took the
tried.
tracker home with her. Then they're gonna say, wait a second, why is the tracker at the head
Because
of
they had to
Pueblo?
have Tommy. Wasn't enough that they had the one scene. They had to have another scene where they're involving Angela back in the plot.
Right, but
She has a connection with Tasha. She has a connection with Tommy.
But the
It's,
very fact-
it's ridiculous.
Right, but
you're
even,
totally right.
But even if she didn't even take it off his car, the very fact that he drove to her neighborhood would have put her back again in the spotlight.
yeah.
You know, I mean, you're like, yo,
Good
what
point.
the
Well,
hell is going on?
We have to see what
Unless you-
happens unless the boss said no to the tracker. You can take it off, and then next thing you know, later it goes
boss-
on again.
The boss was giving her time. The thing is, the boss.
Why would you say that? I liked the scene, and then I forgot that it shouldn't have gone in her bag.
It shouldn't have gone. I'm like, what the hell, bro? You come on.
And-
She's the criminal. She knows they're going after, and you're gonna put it in your own bag and they're tracking you.
And the CIA guy that was killed by Tommy, there's no way to play out that plot that the audience is gonna know it later. Like
Yeah.
this is gonna come back. Like you can do it in real life because the evidence is evidence, but it's like you have to then say, I'm watching all these episodes like all the time to keep in mind that this guy, like they can show a flashback of it, but that computer doesn't mean anything. Like you're not gonna, how are we gonna come in and then next thing you know, Tommy goes to jail for that? Like it's,
Because they found because they're saying the cell phone towers around there were pinging that he was in the neighborhood
come
at
on,
the same
it's
time. Which
too
kind
late.
of
If they did that,
it's not conclusive, but
they
it's,
did that before, but they delayed it. It's almost like Chris Claremont. It's like every note that I wrote down, I'm gonna do at some point later. It's like if you can't, you got to throw these plots out. You passed it, you can't bring it back up. Saying, oh, DNA and all that other stuff. It's like, yeah, but he's gone after it. There's like 3 seasons later. How are they gonna bring that computer back? Oh, it's in a safe. Like I knew once you do that, you're gonna have to find an inventive way to bring it in or say it doesn't even work. You know?
that is true. That is true. But I mean, overall, I think the last couple episodes were pretty good. I think it continues to go for their holes naturally. I don't know how they're missing something as basic as that with the tracker, unless there's going to be something down the episodes. And the one thing I do like about these episodes is I like watching the end of Power. Wait till the end, after the end credits, and listen to
But
Courtney
she,
Kemp.
it's very good.
She's the executive
She's
producer,
very good.
and she
Her hair is very big. Her
Sure.
hair is very big.
Okay, that's irrelevant. The point is that she gives explanation into why certain things are happening, and when you listen to it, it frames the episode a lot better. Because sometimes like, why the hell did they do that? But then you understand
No,
why.
she's obviously. The show is good. She's a strong talent, and it's a very interesting end. And I think a lot of shows have. I guess The Talking Dead had the long thing, but she's basically keying in on points we need to keep in mind, which is always good. You know, I didn't mean anything by it. This is we try to throw as many jokes as we possibly can in. She's very talented, very strong writer. I can't wait to see what she does next after this, and hopefully she has, other projects that happen at the same time.
I mean, she's made it to 5 seasons. That's a very successful fact. How many showrunners make it to 5 seasons? Not many at all.
Yeah, I think that they need to remember that I like that it's an ensemble, but we won Al Pacino, and this isn't, right now, it's not Godfather 3.
Well, Ghost isn't Al Pacino.
I'm saying, he is the Al Pacino of the show.
The only problem is, like, you see how...
He's the Al Pacino of the show. Remember that you can do the ensemble, but remember, we want to see Ghost. We don't want to see Tariq become the guy,
I don't know. It's just I get pissed off looking at Ghost sometimes because he rose so... Ghost is the perfect assassin because he can do things on his own.
Yeah.
But if you're running an organization, it's like they always have it him. one thing I like about Dre, you see the breakdown of the organization. You got him, you got Chris.
But he doesn't have the weight. He doesn't have the weight of the character. He didn't do anything to get here. They gave him.
He made moves, and
he didn't make no moves.
Yes, he did. He made moves to take over. He
didn't make any moves. He said, "I want to be the biggest drug dealer." Okay, buddy, here you go, biggest drug dealer.
He saw Ghost, and we see the progression from when he was just a hopper.
He didn't. No,
and then
he didn't make any sense. It's too quick. And the thing is, like, the guy who took over the was it? No, the not the Jimenez, but the other portion.
Right.
The dummy, the guy that they
who took the hit saying that he killed somebody.
He killed somebody. That's the perfect idea. Someone in over his head. They haven't played the part of getting all of the pieces and being at the top and having to deal with it. How fast you like the whole. We have Trump to show you. Like when he got there and they're like saying, "Where's the legislation?" They're like, "What?" Like they didn't know what they were doing. So it's like that's the thing is when you get to power, knowing all the little stuff and saying if you don't have it or you're lacking in diplomacy and all this other stuff, these pieces, that's what the consigliere is for and help you through these things.
But you don't have.
He don't got nothing.
I know.
Sorry, he doesn't have anything.
Look. In a position that he's a distro where you don't want people to get, he should be having people work for him or act for him.
He has knuckleheads working for him.
But you don't see anybody. The first season you saw he had.
They killed off all of the people that was in the thing.
Exactly. But then how do you move your stuff? Now it's going through time.
What about the money? You're saying that all the stuff that the church was doing, somebody just collecting that money.
Someone moved in, I guess. The thing is these shows are older in real life and in stuff. These guys
I do like the
people who
Jimenez sister. I like her. I wanted to see more of her.
Yeah.
Are you rolling your eyes every time I cut you off?
You cut me off. What do you expect me to say?
Oh my God, he likes this person.
You cut me off.
Oh my God, he said that.
I do like the sister, so I can't say you can't knock it. But
so
look, long story short,
I like the power when they come in and they smack down Dre. That's what I like in there.
I don't like the power when they come down. I'm sorry. I like that whole thing.
I hate
there was no non-compete agreement all this time. All of a sudden, there was no non-compete agreement, and they pulled Dre off the board.
But then he got put back on. So what? You don't have a problem with that?
No, he was on the board. But I'm saying how the whole purpose is
Ghost has 3 million things going on.
Right, but what
that's to make sense that he wouldn't.
That is the number one thing. Any company right now.
You're right. I tried.
As soon as
you're right.
Right now, any company you go onto another side, they're going to check and say, hey. Wait, he's our competitor. Yo, let's check and see if he has a non-compete. That's like an ABC. Not even
right.
Come on. This is like how long? As soon as Dre went to the other side. Okay, all right, probably let that side. But once he started taking,
that would have been so powerful. And then they do the same thing. If he said that, he's like, he can't.
But his premise is that he's there because he's working with the Jimenez because he can get him into the clubs, and now he's not there.
No, but the thing is like this. This is how it goes. In truth, with a non-complete and saying Tate's like, you need my help. I need your help, right? And he's like, no. The non-complete is in there. My lawyers are not going to say this, right? So the only way my lawyers are going to understand this is if you give me money, Tate, because there's a non-compete clause. You had to do something to make my lawyers not want to litigate, and that's it. I can just say it, and that's the thing. It's like, take it out of hand. No, but I need your help. I helped you with this, and it's like, I can't explain it to them. And say, rock in a hard place. And then he's like, you know what? The money for if he wanted Dre, then have Tate give up something for Dre. Because he's like saying, I'm not giving up Dre. He said, well, I can't. I'm a business.
Yeah.
I can't work with this guy.
That makes sense what you said.
But that's what they did.
But they didn't do that.
Yes. So I'm saying, I agree with you.
But you're trying to explain it that way.
I'm saying what they could have done. But what you're saying is totally right. You can't. They're slipping, but it was a great episode.
Yeah, like I said, there's some holes, but we enjoyed it. So listen, keep on watching Power, support it, and hopefully it gets even better than it was.
Look at all the energy it brought out of us. Look at all the hate he has for me in this episode.
Because he doesn't like any of the friggin' characters I like. He hates those characters.
What characters do I hate?
Dre.
Yeah, there's only one character that I hate.
Dre. And I said Kanan.
I like 50. I'm just saying, but there's been so much 50. That at some point we need to lose them
because we're following our mind's eye is following Kanan. Okay. And how
No.
he's destroying the relationship. How he's destroying.
It's not a show about 50 Cent coming into power.
But
And the thing, he doesn't even know how to launder money. Who's gonna launder after he kills Ghost and Tommy?
They know how to launder. They were laundering it to laundromat. The problem is that truth is the place to put it through. And the problem we have here, the reason why Kanan has the opportunity is because the guy who played the Ghost, he's just out of it. You know, from murdering somebody from an a survivors meeting to doing the things that he's doing against Tate. Tate is not the enemy. Well, no, Tate is
Ghost,
the enemy.
what's the name? Omari Hardwick he's an actor.
Right.
And he's the lead. And obviously he wants to do stuff besides just kill people. So him being drunk, him trying to make a plan and not being able to kill people he wants to kill, this all leads to him doing more stuff. And that's what he wants to do. Whereas Tommy goes like Tommy, Kanan, all they want to do is be gangsters in the show. They don't need anything else as far as their acting thing. Omari Hardwick is like, I want my character to go through these arcs.
And I have no problem
Which
with
is
that.
fine with that.
The problem is just that if you're going through these arcs with you and Angela, if the end of the story, if we go to the very end, at the very end of the story, Angela and there's only two options: Angela and Ghost get together, or Angela and Ghost die. And not even get together.
I don't think they should die.
They gotta die.
I think that the world that they should not be together.
No.
The thing is that they're Romeo and Juliet. Their two worlds cannot be together.
But isn't it? She's already done enough right now that she's warned. All the things she's done, and she said it herself. I should be going to jail for some of this stuff.
But the thing is that at the same
we're
time,
talking about little things. We're talking about hiding huge crimes.
I want to go to George Carlin, who talked about perjury, and he said, perjury happens all the time. The police do it all the time. So it's like, let's stop acting as if people don't find a criminal or find someone that's likely suspect and prosecute that way. It's not this altruistic thing. It's not about him or her. It's like, who can you put in jail? That's it. Can we get all these drug dealers in jail? That's what it is. They keep acting like every time they get a cop or something like that, like they do it on Jennifer Lopez's show, where they struggle with doing the right thing. When they started, Jennifer Lopez would get in court and be like, nope, I didn't do that. I saw him.
She was a dirty cop at first.
Yeah.
So.
There's no reason not to be.
I'm
you
not condoning that.
are trying to keep your job. And people are going to say, don't prosecute this person, prosecute that person, do what this is the thing. Do what the people want. They're not going to allow.
Well, her clique was doing what they were doing, right?
Yeah.
So she fell into the clique. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Look, I totally understand that. But the question here in Power is whether or not they understand that. And the characters, like one character that we see is Tasha, where she recognizes Kanan as a threat. She's the only person there, and she constantly says, kill me, whatever you want to do. But you know what? Even if I'm dead, people will come right after you too. And you respect that.
I wish she actually meant it. We don't know how she's gonna have people.
But this also feeds into my thing. There's something so deep that happened between her and.
But it'd be so
Kanan.
bogus that it'd be ridiculous.
You know what?
I'm saying that
Odds even. Odds even says shoot. I
was even.
I won.
I was even.
I
you didn't call. You did not call you.
I won.
You said.
If I said I won,
no, you don't. You said you call odds even.
I'm not calling it because I already won. I knew that's what I was. I was even.
Oh, you're ridiculous.
Listen, people, spin a rack.
Out.